Welcome to the Business Spotlight podcast. My name is Kay Cote, and I'm your host for today's episode. And today on the show, I have Caleb Ferling, owner of Clean Start Companies, as my guest. We're going to be learning about his businesses, his journey to business ownership, best practices he's learned along the way, as well as challenges that he's faced to give you that inside look to what it's like and build and operate a business. Welcome, Caleb.
Thank
Thanks so
you.
much for
Thank
being
you.
here. Yeah.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Of course. Well, before we dive into all things business, I'd love to share a little bit about you with our audience. So feel free to
Sure.
share about yourself.
Yeah. Um, well, I'm the founder, CEO of Clean Start Companies. I have a partner now, but we operate four businesses out of our Clean Start companies. We do Clean Start commercial cleaning, which currently have about 118 employees. And we also have a Clean Start concrete and coatings business, which polish concrete, any kind of floor coatings, epoxy systems, and whatnot. Clean Start Exteriors, which is exterior maintenance, landscape, sprinklers, and that kind of stuff. And then last, Clean Start Distribution, where we distribute consumable products to our customers, as well as our own product line called One, which is environmental friendly products that we primarily use for our cleaners, for sustainability, keeping them healthier than some of the chemicals out there on the shelves. So we launched that about 2 years ago. So
Oh, wow. Very cool. So you launched the cleaning line 2 years ago. When did you launch the I guess the main company?
Clean Start companies are Clean Start. I started 23 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been doing it quite a while. It was a one-man show for say approximately 14 years, and then brought a partner in well, actually I brought a partner in 2014, and
Mm.
so me and a partner have been running the company since then.
Okay, 2014. And you said there was 118 employees. Is that
Mhm.
across all of them? Or
Yeah, yep,
okay.
yep.
Wow. Well, this is cool because you have multiple things that you're working on within your companies. And so I would like to kick it off with kind of like, are there any other like executive board team members or anything or an administrative team that you have currently?
Yeah, yeah. So I don't have a board. I'm a private company. I have a partner. I have a administrative staff, which is a bookkeeper. I have a CFO who handles all of our accounting and all that stuff. I have an office manager and then an office assistant, and then approximately 8 managers in the field that run kind of the day-to-day operations of things.
Awesome. I'm just taking a couple notes as we go.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, this is very cool. So what does your day to day kind of look like as the owner? Are you more in the business or on the business or kind of a little bit of both?
Yeah. So I have been able to finally kind of transition out of the day-to-day stuff, which has been cool. Currently launching a new part of our website, which is Clean Start University, which we're wrapping up this month a non-branded training program for other cleaning companies where we have a video. It's about 65 minutes with a 110-page training manual. That was kind of birthed out of trying to streamline our onboarding systems and getting people trained properly on the front end instead of having to deal with issues on the back end. And
Mhm.
so I kind of put down all the training stuff that I could think of, did research, put it all into a video format with a training guide and then a facilitator guide, and working on it in a Spanish translation as well. So launching that, and then just finished a book. It's more of an e-guide that I'm working on for sales in this industry. The principles work across the board in sales, but they're about 20, 22 principles that I've used in sales and in training sales guys in this industry that I'm working on that as well. So I'm kind of doing stuff like that, trying to get more into the consulting, more into helping people establish and scale their own companies.
Okay. And are you primarily working in the cleaning industries types of
Yes,
like, people for that? Okay.
yes.
Um, okay, so I'd love to learn more about kind of like some of the emerging leaders on your team as well, because it sounds like you're doing a lot, which is awesome. So, do you see any team members currently emerging as leaders?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how we operate as a company is uh, I'm more of a hands-off manager. I like to give people the tools and the training to be leaders and to make decisions and, you know, um, that kind of stuff. So I'd say a lot of my staff have emerged as strong leaders. I have a young gal that I've been working with for 3 years that she's our operations manager. So she oversees all the operations on a daily basis for our janitorial side of things. And it's been really fun to see her grow into that position. I have a guy that started with me at 18 and now he's 27 and he's taken a lot of my video stuff. So he was a sales guy, but now he's moved into a lot of our video production. And a few years back, we made some big purchases on video gear and camera equipment and lighting, created a little studio. And so he's taken some real good leadership with that, really helping us get some of these big vision items that I have launched. So it's really neat to see. And then I have a couple people on my staff that are a little bit older than me. I'm 50, but in their 60s that are just solid people that have been in the industry for 30 years that run our sales and stuff like that. So it's fun to see. It's very fun to see.
Oh, very cool. I think it's sounds really awesome. Like a couple golden nuggets that you've already said is, you're taking that hands-off approach and creating systems and opportunities for education so your team can run itself or you have those leaderships developing. So I think that's a huge
Yeah,
golden nugget for other business owners to take note of too.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
like, I kind of want to dive into your ideal client. Now, are you working more B2B or are you working B2C currently?
Our concrete and coatings, we do residential projects, a lot of those. So, excuse me, garages, homes. Um, so that business is way more like the B2C, but our commercial side, our cleaning and distribution and stuff is really primarily to other businesses, commercial businesses. And we do a lot of different industries. Almost every industry you can think of. We do attorneys, medical. We just launched into surgical and terminal cleans, which have been kind of a learning curve, but we're seeing some real good results from that. I took a certification course just to get certified in that to train my team to take those on. That so yeah, we hit almost every industry. I would say other than government. We try to stay away from government and retail. Those are the two big industries that we don't really touch on.
Okay, so you mentioned that there's been a little bit of a learning curve with taking on this it's surgical and terminal cleaning.
Mhm.
What are some of the things that you've noticed? Like, what have been some of the hurdles with that that you've been facing?
Well, yeah, good question. Because you're dealing with people's lives and infection and stuff, it gets very critical that the job is done right. I know for myself, I'm a heart surgery patient, and after my surgery, I got staph infection, which was almost more serious than the surgery itself because of where it was. So, making certain that, when we go into these terminal rooms that they're properly disinfected, is really critical. And a lot of businesses in this company skip corners and not cleaning corners, but skip corners in the sense that, maybe skip procedures or steps. And so making certain all those steps are followed, following all the HIPAA laws and all the practices that go with the standards and AORN standards and whatnot. So it's very critical that when we clean these terminal rooms, they're done right and they're done really to keep people healthy.
Mm. Oh, definitely. Well, thank you for diving into that a little bit. And looking at how are you marketing to your clients, like, or potential clients, I should say? Are you focused on like word of mouth, or are you doing strategic marketing? What's that look like for you?
Yeah. Um, so for many years, I was doing a lot of just because I was a one-man show for quite a few years. I was doing a lot of door knocking and um, telemarketing. So I was getting lists from free resources such as the library. They have some really good resources. I still recommend people to use these lists um, to find industries that are looking for people that are looking for janitorial or commercial cleaning needs. But over the last, I would say, decade, I've kind of um, changed a little bit of my marketing strategy. Surprisingly enough, a lot of my stuff comes in through web. Now I've done a good job at hiring the right people to SEO our websites and our landing pages and content, continuously producing content that's relevant to people. And establishing your Google rank order is has been really critical for me. I've seen a lot of good success from that. And then our sales team do have an inside sales team that we have a database of about 10,000 leads that we cycle through, call on. A lot of times people aren't ready for a bid or whatever for our services. So we just put them into like a follow-up, email or a follow-up tag. And so we can follow up on those later. And a lot of those leads we do at some point convert because we stay kind of front and center with them. Um, we've tried different things. We've tried, hiring people to go out and put door hangers and stuff. That doesn't seem to work a lot. Um, but I would say that the primary way that we've really hit is our inside sales team establishing appointments for our sales guys, and then people reaching out to us from our website has been pretty good.
Oh, those are amazing, especially the your database and your leads that you built there. And then you, like you
Yep.
said, you stay front and center of, what they're viewing and what they're seeing. So
Mhm.
now I'd kind of like to go into, because how business owners, we are faced with many challenges. What is something that you faced as a business owner and within any of the years that you've had the businesses that you overcame, and how did you do it?
Yeah. So I think in this industry in particular, profit margins are fairly narrow. We're looking at, anywhere from 5 to 12%, I think is about average. So the other issue is our payroll costs. We live in the Northwest. We have probably the highest paid um, cleaning staff in the country. At least that's the numbers I've heard. So, most of my employees don't want to work for under $20 an hour. And so, but then most of our businesses don't want to pay premium price. So kind of drives your margins down a bit. So we've struggled at times and currently struggling because our payroll starts to creep up and takes over a bigger part of our operating budget. And so cutting that down, figuring out ways to reduce payroll costs, whether that's reviewing jobs, you know, um, and whatnot, just to cut those labor costs down. That's a big one. The other big struggle that I have found is accounts accounts receivables is getting people to pay timely. So, at any given moment, we could have $200,000 outstanding, and our payroll is close to 200,000 every 2 weeks. And so it makes it tough to operate when you're, waiting on people to pay, unless you have, big lines of credit or whatnot, which I've never operated under that. We've never operated under big lines of credit. We try to keep that to a minimal and rely on our, the work that we have out there. So,
That's a big one. I think many businesses struggle with that time between the payments or the outstanding payments. What are some of the things you're currently doing that to kind of mitigate that?
mhm. So one of the things I've instructed my sales team to do, we've had some really nice like brochures with inserts that we give to our potential customers, like when we're going out and reviewing their site and stuff like that. But one of the inserts that we've put in there now is our payment options and our payment choices. And we really push ACH payments and credit cards. A lot of companies want to kind of go to that check system, and run it through their accounting and stuff. But a lot of times, you're looking 45 to 60 days in that. So we've made a real push to streamline our payables with credit card, ACH, um, just to get cash flow more fluid.
That makes a lot of sense because that can be really challenging and probably painful waiting.
Stressful. It's
Very
stressful. Yeah.
stressful.
And I would say I'm not alone in this. I know just from my LinkedIn connections and stuff that a lot of businesses, definitely struggle with that. And I think the priority is, COVID helped a lot because I think there was a paradigm shift a bit in how people viewed cleaning. It wasn't so much like a subpar service, but more of a premier service. And so we try to capitalize on that and clean for health and clean for like people's frame of mind and stuff. So we kind of restructure some of our marketing too. But there, it has been a little better. I'd say since COVID, it really did open people's eyes into seeing the importance of having a good commercial cleaning company. And not to mention it's usually cheaper than if they were to go in-house, because there's a lot of hidden costs that go with hiring, staff to clean your building. You've got overtime, you've got all the taxes and benefits and stuff. So um, just educating people that this is a a good solution, and it's so
It's one of those things I thought about too. It's like those the hidden businesses. It's like you notice it when it's not good.
oh
Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? And then but when it's good, it's just people kind of are like they're feeling
yeah,
feeling good
yeah,
about it, but they're
oh
not
yeah.
recognizing
Yeah, miss
that.
a garbage can or two, and then they'll notice you real quick. Yeah, that's something that we struggle with all the time, And then a lot of times, if you don't hear from customers, I'm trying to implement ways we can get responses back from people,
Mm.
quickly and more periodically, just to see how service is. If there's issues that we can correct, because a lot of times people won't speak up until there is a glaring issue staring them in the face, and so we're trying to work on that, just capturing, people before there's issues.
Definitely. What are some of the things that you're doing to capture those, or what are kind of the hangups maybe when capturing those?
Well, I think a lot of times, like you said, when things are going good, people don't have much to say and they don't give much feedback. And so um, you could send out emails or whatever. So we started adding something to our invoices. It's like a kind of a review on our invoices. And that's helped a bit because usually if the accounting department's hearing about something, it's gone a little too far. And so adding those ratings, I guess you would call, in our invoice system, so people can, rate their service there. It just gives us data to work from.
Definitely. That's a good ad. That's a
Making sure, yeah, and making sure our staff, we have about 6 operations personnel that really training them to, I mean, they obviously go in and inspect facilities and look, and detail if they have to, but getting them to, go into these places of business during the day when, contacts are there, getting them to make contact with them and draw some feedback is also really, really helpful. So training our team to get better at that has been another thing that we've done.
Mhm. Well, thank you for sharing this. So far, this has been such a fun conversation. I want to take us through a little bit different part of the conversation, which is our rapid fire questions, where I'm going to be
Perfect.
asking you some
Yeah.
questions.
Okay.
All right. So, question number one is, what is a key to success for you?
I'd say a key to success is consistency. Um, I use the analogy of a flywheel, getting that flywheel, building momentum, keep
Mhm.
pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing, being consistent in the small things is really important. I would also say having vision. Vision kind of carries you through when things get tough. Um, but if you can keep that vision of what you want, where you're going, it definitely keeps you on course.
Yes, I agree. Uh,
Metrics, another big one, keeping metrics,
yes, numbers.
key performance indicators and stuff like that. See your retention and attrition rates and stuff is really important as well. So,
That's a good one too. Second question is, what is a piece of advice you have for other business owners?
um, one thing that I've started, well, I've always been a New Year's guy. That's my favorite holiday. I love New Year's. I don't know if it's because I like setting goals for the prior year or what, but I think having goals that you can have for yourself, but also share those goals with your team and have them buy into your vision is critical.
Mhm.
And so every year I do something with my staff. Sometimes it's an overnighter where we, spend 4 or 5 hours and we all write down our personal goals and then we write down our company goals. And then I hold my team accountable to that. I base performance raises and stuff off those goals if they've accomplished them. So I would say having clear, concise, attainable goals is a piece of advice I would give any business owner.
That's solid. That's very solid. Number three is, what is it could be a book, a podcast, a piece of content that that's resonated with you recently.
Hmm. Um, oh boy. Um, there has been a couple books looking on my bookshelf. Um, I do like, I've been primarily focused on sales in the last couple years. So there's a book I've been reading called The Sales Bible, which I really enjoy. Um, I'm part of a group that it's called Truth at Work. It's like a CEO business executive group that we take issues every week and we kind of digest those. So if I'm giving advice to another business owner, I would say maybe find groups that have other business owners that you can talk to because it's really lonely. It can be very lonely in being a business owner, and having people that you can share like wins and things with. So and where they can recommend good content.
Mhm. That is great. That sounds like a great book too. The fourth and final question is, if you could wave a magic wand and rapidly improve one aspect of your business, what would it be?
I would say cash flow. I would say having cash flow consistent at all times would be really helpful. So it would be something that I think we all want to reach. So yeah, getting those systems down where you can bring that cash in quicker, so it's not sitting out there.
Definitely. That's a big one. Well, thank you for sharing those rapid fires. Before we get to our final question of the day, how can folks connect with you and your business online?
Yeah. Our website is www.thecleanstart.com. And on that site, you can find out all about us, the different companies that we have. And LinkedIn, I'm on LinkedIn, Caleb Ferling. I don't have my LinkedIn profile, but I am trying to create a community in there that I can connect with other business owners, especially in this industry. So LinkedIn is a good source for reaching me as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Caleb. This has been great. For our final question today, what is most inspiring to you today?
Doing this podcast with you.
Ah,
How's
that's
that for an answer?
a great answer. That makes my day too. Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, your thoughts, and everything on business. It's been a joy to have you on the show today.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.